Hello and welcome back to the Rei Sportscar Championship here at Dragon Trail Gardens. This is the sprint race of round 3 from Division 2, so let's go through the grid. So on pole position is the American Way Too Many Napkins, followed by another American here on this mix of left and right hand corners, Drade MIX. In third place with a very good qualifying result is Lizelle 973, with fourth place hosting Lewis ZGD. Rounding out the top 5 is the Canadian My Own Parasite, with 6th place being the winner from Brands Hatch, the endurance race Average Tom. In 7th place, making his first race here of Season 8, is Tahilbro, with just behind being Janai Abroad. Rounding out the field in 9th place is Pixtecker in the Timbaland car. But as we get away here at Dragon Trail Gardens, it's a very technical circuit, but with these cars being so sort of tiny, it's actually quite a wide track surface, especially in the first sector. So as we get away here, we've got this flowing turn 1. It's a very fast turn, over 100 miles per hour in these little sports cars. But then it's the turn 2, turn 3 and turn 4 section, which is really going to create some fantastic racing with the cutbacks that we can see. So as they flow through, we can just see how quick this chicane section can be taken. But the main thing they've got to watch out for is that inside curb there and this inside curb there, as Way Too Many Napkins hits it way too hard, and that's surely going to give an opportunity to Drade MIX to come down the inside. There's a car spinning in the background, and it is Tahilbro who must have hit a curb too hard, but back towards the lead, and Drade on the inside making that move after Way Too Many Napkins got a bit too loose there at turn 4. Lizelle and Lewis fighting for third. Lewis getting far too loose there under braking. Lizelle does still drop down to 4th though. We've already seen that curb lose Way Too Many Napkins' place and drop Tahilbro down the field, but I'm sure that Way Too Many Napkins can regain some ground, or not with a bad attempt like that, and that has given Lewis so much more acceleration corner. We'll go on the onboard here through this multiple apex turn, and it just keeps going and going and going, and when you think you can accelerate, you have to back off again. But this is a fantastic run out of that turn. Lewis side by side here, going into this penultimate left turn, which again is actually quite a tricky one, and allows for so many different lines through the corner. So Lewis a little bit more straight line speed there, and that is due to the ballast system here in Division 2, where the drivers with more points in the championship get slightly more weight and a slight reduction in power, and Lizelle is one of the drivers that doesn't have too much of a reduction in their power, and he is now making that 3 wide and going into second, because he took a fantastic line there through the final turn, got sort of kept the acceleration through the corner and moves into second. Lewis into third. Way Too Many Napkins now down to 4th there after that, and all this is doing is allowing Drade here, the leader, to pull away. Here you can see these curbs, this curb on the inside very heavy, Drade missing it, and I think, yeah, a lot of other people missing it, but I think Average Tom actually, who's in 5th, hit it perfectly and rode over it. But we've got Lewis and Lizelle here, slight bit of contact actually on this back straight. But to go in, I think Lewis does have the inside, and well, he keeps it, but he used up way too much of that inside curve, got onto the grass. Lizelle moving into second place on the exit of the turn, and you've also got My Own Parasite here looking very feisty behind Average Tom. Oh, that's not a good place to make a move. Meanwhile, if you go on board with Average Tom, we see Way Too Many Napkins yet again on the inside into turn 6, and that is not going to go well as he runs wide. That move was not going to pay off, and he drops down to 5th. Oh no, there's slight contact actually as Tom turned in, and Way Too Many Napkins still had a little bit of a nose. So Way Too Many Napkins holding on for now, but I think Tom will have the run out of the corner. Let's just go on board. We can see every Tom on the left, and we see My Own Parasite, where we can't see him anymore. Where is that? Where is that? Okay, still behind us for now. Is he on the inside? No, he has to slot in behind, but Average Tom into 4th place there. So Way Too Many Napkins from pole position to 5th place straight away. Now this is just a sprint race, so it's just racing softs for all drivers. There's no tyre wear to think about. And as we go into turn 1, slightly different line taken from the American driver. So he does get a better run up the corner, but he's run too wide and he loses control. into the wall he goes. Mayan Parasite moves into 5th, and Janai Broad into 6th. Pixeka and Tahilbro stay behind, but let's get a replay of that. And let's look at Mayan Parasite, who's also gone off the track. He's understeered too wide and dirty. Yeah, way too in Atkins understeered a little bit less, but therefore just got the car upended on the exit curb. So Mayan Parasite into 5th, but has lost some time to Janai Broad. And way too in Atkins has it all to do now from 7th place. But back towards this battle for 2nd, which is a couple of seconds behind the race lead. And with Lozelle missing the apex like that, that will increase the gap to that leader. Pixteca actually was very close to Waytoon Atkins there, but it's gone very wide. Let's just catch a replay of that. Yeah, just way too wide. I thought there might have been some contact, but no, not to be. So if we go back up to this battle for the podium positions, we can see that Lewis actually taking a slightly different line to Lozelle. He's hitting different apexes to Lozelle, because it is quite hard to hit all of these 4 apexes, and that is not necessarily the quickest route through the turn. Yeah, this track might not feel too wide in GT3 cars, but as soon as you get to a low-powered Mazda Roadster, every single bit of track is another bit of track to overtake the car ahead. Just quickly pop behind, and Janai Broad's actually keeping on to the rear here of Mayan Parasite. That's pretty good, and he is setting pace around 144. Pretty consistent last 2 laps. Mayan Parasite, yeah, that mistake has cost him. About a second quicker here for these people in the top 4. Oh, I hear a loose car. Oh, and you can see Average Tom really trying to use that curb, unlike Lewis and Lozelle. Halebro here, just at the back, as he's had a pretty poor opening lap after the early spin, but he isn't too far away from Pixteca and way too many Atkins. We go back to scrap up ahead, and we can see that Average Tom right on the back of the Hungarian driver. Meanwhile, Mayan Parasite and Janai Broad are also pretty close for 5th place. Oh my goodness, what has happened here? We have the American in the wall, and oh, he's just been hit in the rear by Pixteca, right into the blue sponsor, and Pixteca doing the honourable thing and slowing down for way too Atkins, and in the process Tahilbro gets 2 very cheap positions, moving into 7th. But that is a fierce battle that we'll have to look forward to later. Meanwhile, 5th and 6th, and Janai Broad actually really putting the pressure on. This is fantastic stuff from him. He didn't have a good first round after car infringement issues meant that he was excluded from that round. He didn't do too well at Brands Hatch either, but here he is looking to redeem himself a little bit. Brakes a little bit later than the Canadian, so you can see therefore running far too wide, but if you run wide in the first part, it's not actually too bad, because you get a better run out of the corner and going into turn 1. So let's go on board with him. And you can see there that extra acceleration from that different line in that final corner really helping him to overtake the number 76. As you look towards this turn 1 apex, running way too wide, and we can see Mayan Parasite in the rear view mirror getting much closer now after that battle. Oh, and there's a car off, is there? It's Lozelle who was running in 2nd place and was closing up Drade after just getting the fastest lap, has hit that turn 2 curb. You can just say losing it on the exit. Oh sorry, hit the turn 3 curb, losing it on the exit, and has sent him around. Let's actually get so here is the turn 3 curb. So he's tried something very similar to Drade, but has hit it in the wrong way, and that sent him around. Meanwhile, Avery Tom, who was right on the back of Lewis, hit the turn 4 curb very harshly, and he's lost a bit of acceleration going onto the back straight. Now we've got Janai Broad and Mayan Parasite, and actually Mayan Parasite now on the inside very easily. And will take that position to the hairpin, surely? Yes, he does, and actually now Lazelle is in this battle after that error. Now Lazelle was catching up on the race leader Drade, but now a gap has formed there. Oh, just further back, and way too Atkins trying to overtake Tahilbro, but Tahilbro gets it on the exit, picks Tekka, dropping a little bit further back. As we go back towards this battle for second, Lewis just about holding on to Tom, but Tom is looking very feisty, and if I think that Tom might be the quickest driver out of these top three, and if he can just get past Lewis, he might catch up to Drade in the second half of this race. Now there is a feature race after this, which will include a little bit of tyre strategy and will be twice as long, so more points to play for in the second race. Back to this battle for fifth, and Giant Broad on the inside into the final turn. And yeah, very easily made that stick actually. We'll just get an on board. So Mayan Parasite braking far too late there under pressure from the American, and he is able to slip through there in the number 19. And then back in seventh, Tahilbro still ahead of way too many Natkin. Oh no, he isn't. Wow, he went so far off the camera we couldn't even see where he'd gone really. That was so wide. So he drops down to 8th. Picks Tekka now not too far in 9th, setting pretty good 44.7. You can just see that, yeah, Janai Broad really avoiding those curves at turn 3 and turn 4, which is the opposite to what average Tom is doing, who is now right on the back of Lewis, probably because of that more aggressive nature there in that chicane. So actually quite similar racing lines in the multi-apex turn. It really does need a name. Let's give it the Sinclair turn for the name. We can see here that Janai Broad taking again a pretty similar line to Mayan Parasite it seems, as he really wants that slipstream. And then further back we've got Tahilbro and Pixteco taking very different lines, as Pixteco avoiding the apexes but then using a bit more of the track on the exit of the turn. As we catch up with our race leader, we've avoided him quite a bit because he's been on his own. His lap times have been dropping off the last few laps, gone from 42s to high 43s. Meanwhile, car behind 3/10 faster, and average Tom about the same pace, actually lost a bit on that previous lap. Lazelle on his own in 4th is actually one of the quickest on track. He was the quickest before that mistake, and he's still keeping up some good pace, but that's a big error yet again from Lazelle, hitting that curve again. Janai Broad and Mayan Parasite fighting very closely, and if we go on board with him right around the outside, that would be fantastic if done, and that is a fantastic opportunistic move there from the Canadian. A little bit of weaving on the back straight I think, but that's also just the way this back straight goes with the couple of kinks, which do cause you to go from left to right, and that's a massive dive bomb. That almost seemed like a mechanical error. Let's just go on board with him. So after the move around the outside there, due to Janai Broad just not being aggressive enough through turn 3 and turn 4, he starts braking a little bit too late there, and then has let off of the brake, slightly accelerated as well, and gone head first into the sponsor, as we saw earlier with Way 2 Natkins after the contact with Pixteco. Here, no real contact, at least not under braking. So that's lost us out there on that continued battle for 5th and 6th due to a little silly error. Further back, and what's happened here? Way Too Many Atkins was running safely in 7th, but has just gone far too slowly through the corner, hit the grass on the inside and lost all that momentum, now going back up the hill into the middle sector. So he's fallen behind Heilbro. We've only got yellow flags, and that will actually be for my own Parasite. Oh my goodness, he'd just taken 5th from Janai Abroad, and now at the Sinclair turn right into the orange and black barriers, he manages to continue, but with Janai Abroad and my own Parasite both making mistakes, I thought that they'd separated for a bit, but here they are back again with just 5 laps remaining. Further up front, and Lewis is still holding on from Average Tom, but if we go on board we can see he is looking a little bit for the slipstream, and we can see that both of these cars are way closer to Drade right now. 42.7 from Tom, 42.9 from Lewis, 43.7 from Drade. That was 8 tenths to Lewis and a second to Average Tom. So currently Average Tom not looking so average here in Division 2. And you can see there once again hopping over the curb, maybe hopping over it a little bit too much. Janai Abroad very wide through turn 3, misses the apex at turn 4, and I think, and actually my own Parasite already taking more speed onto that back straight from the alternative line through turn 3 and turn 4. To Heilbro and way too many napkins here, still in hot pursuit, and Pixtecker in 9th. But yeah, still like saying good lap time, so still has an opportunity to close in, or does he? Yes, he does. I thought for a moment he might have braked too late, but we'll go back up towards the podium positions, which are closing in and honing in here on the race leader Drade. And way too Natkins slotting in on the inside there to Heilbro, just catch a Wolf Cola sponsored replay. We don't usually see too many moves here at turn 6, but Heilbro was just being caught napping here with an incredibly good opportunistic overtake there. Yeah, Heilbro was really thinking about the next corner. Way too many Natkins just said see you later, taking as much speed as he could to get onto the inside for the next turn. This is one of the fantastic liveries we do have here in the Rei Sportscar Championship. Meanwhile, another fantastic livery is that of the race leader and the number 9 car, Drade Mix. But he's missed that turn 2 apex, and we can see that Lewis taking it far better, and we'll go on board with him as he takes a much better racing line through that chicane. Look at the amount of time we've gained just in that little section. That's a solid half a second, maybe even a second now thanks to this slipstream. And I think this is a great chance for an overtake. That's the fastest purple first sector there from the Hungarian. Will he dive down the inside? No, he's more sensible than that. But yeah, Lewis did that incredibly well because he's pulled away from Average Tom there. Just going to very quickly pop back and see that Janai Abroad and my own Parasite, they've been battling for the last 14 minutes it seems. And no, that's not a chance for a move. Janai Abroad actually defends space that wasn't really being taken by my own Parasite. Back towards the front, and Drade just now a couple of tenths ahead of Lewis. Oh, and Pixtecker has spun out from 9th place. We'll catch Pixtecker later on if we can, but we've got the lead possibly changing hands. Drade was thinking better, and Drade was almost going to defend the inside, but he'd already made one move, and Lewis dives down the inside here into the penultimate turn. Fantastic move to take the lead with just 3 laps left. He's been catching and catching the American, and now he does lead here in the Rei Sportscar Championship. Let's just catch Pixtecker. He'd already made one mistake on this lap, and here is a second one which drops him away from way too many Atkins and to Heilbro. That's a real shame there for Lewis. Sorry, for Pixtecker. Meanwhile, Lewis now, as we watch him in the lead, he is defending into turn 1 heavily as Drade right into the slipstream. I think Drade is looking to redeem himself straight away and actually maybe retake the position into turn 2. He's right on the back. He dived down the inside, and even before turn 2 he's got that move. Fantastic stuff. And as these two battle, Average Tom is going to be waiting in the wings to maybe get one of them. Drade hitting the curb, gets a poor exit, and Lewis right on him as Tom is right into the gravel, but Lewis now side by side And you cannot get any closer than that as they're on this back straight here at Dragon Trail Gardens, and into the lead Lewis goes again after they battled at turn 2. Down the inside from Drade, late braking, Lewis getting a very wide line, and I think that's going to work out for Lewis. He uses all the track he can, and I think he's going to hold it around turn 5. Yes, he does, and I think that might be the move finally done here after about, what, 5 or 6 corners of battling here. Drade looking for a bit more track usage through the middle sector. Meanwhile, further back, and what's happened to Janai Broad? So this was actually last lap, I think. This may take a while for us to get to. But, oh, it was at the same point when Mayan Parasite went into the wall. Janai Broad had done the exact same. So if we skip ahead, though, to the live footage, we see Drade now really looking to retake this lead with just 2 laps remaining. So Lewis here on the left side of the track, Drade really getting the slipstream, and this is getting closer and closer towards the penultimate turn. Down the inside, no, Lewis defends it slightly. Drade is going to have to think about getting a good exit from this final turn, but oh, he's awkwardly in that bit between 2nd and 3rd gear. Lewis might just have enough of a gap going into turn 1, but he's defending heavily no matter what. Tom, surprisingly, isn't as close as I thought he would be. Maybe his pace had dropped off. Yeah, 44s compared to 43 and 42s from the race leaders, so Tom might have been looking pretty quick earlier, but has lost any chance of that pace coming back to him. Ooh, almost contact between them. Maybe there was contact, maybe a little bump, it was hard to tell, but Drade getting the better run here through turn 2, turn 3 and turn 5. He's missed the apex horrendously. Tom is now catching up to Drade, as Drade, yeah, all over the place through turn 4, and yeah, he probably lost about half a second just in that apex alone. Lewis defending when he really didn't need to. That's going to give Drade an excellent opportunity to accelerate early on and close into the middle sector. Just a little bit further back, we're just going to pop and see how Wade Atkins is getting on. He was the race leader right at the start thanks to his brilliant pole position, but he is now running in 6th. Tahilbro and Janai Broad are pretty close in 7th and 8th, and Pixtecker down in 9th, but back up front. And Drade running into the gravel. Tom has now caught up in this lap, maybe due to the mistakes of Drade and Lewis here on lap 11. Tom using, again, a slightly different line, accelerating very early on, but not close enough just yet. Drade on the outside, he'll want the better run, but look at that amazing stuff from Tom on the inside of Drade. So Drade was the aggressor, and he's ended up being the one who might lose out here. No, just far enough ahead, but that has given Lewis the freedom and that little bit of stress-free time he needed and wanted. From being under pressure to suddenly having a large lead in the space of a couple of seconds there. And to go on board with average Tom, suddenly a win might be possible in this final lap if he plays his cards right. Drade on the inside for turn 3, that's not a good line, and that's going to cost him so heavily in turn 4 as Tom jumps over that curve superbly. He got the fastest lap last time around, 42.2, he's putting something out of the bag, but it might be too little too late as he tries to gain second into this hairpin 200 metre board, 100 metre board, braking at the curb. Yet again, Lewis defending space he didn't really need to, and that has given Drade the chance to actually make a move. So as he go on board with Drade, I think it might be too late for him, but he'll probably still be happy with second. He is pushing very hard to get that win here in the Rei Sportscar Championship. Maybe too hard. He goes into the gravel, goes over the curb. He was accelerating so hard, and into the wall he goes. He got into the gravel and kept pushing. He drops down to 3rd, Tom into 2nd. He'll stay in 3rd low as the cell there, just coming down the hill into the Sinclair turn. We'll just catch a replay of that, and if we just look at the little telemetry at the bottom, we can see how hard Drade is pushing even when he's on the gravel. So he accelerates early, still accelerating, still accelerating, still accelerating, and finally he stops accelerating when the headlamps are into the wall. So to go back towards the lead, and with just 2 corners remaining, Lewis has a half a second lead from average Tom, and unless Tom can, as a magic trick, he has pulled some rabbit out of the hat, it's going to be a Hungarian victory here in the Rei Sportscar Championship. Superb stuff from Lewis to get his first Division 2 win and to gain 20 points towards the championship. Tom close behind with a fantastic gaining, and he also gets the fastest lap there. Fantastic there going through the field. Drade in third, he'll still be happy with a podium I think. Lazelle having a little bit of a quiet race in fourth after an earlier mistake. Maya Parasite in fifth, he just never seemed to get away from July Abroad until the last 2 or 3 laps. Way too many Natkins in sixth, he'll be very disappointed after being the fastest in the 10-minute qualifying session. Janai in seventh, he'll pick up 4 points for his efforts there, with Tahil Bro taking his first checkered flag of season 8. And then rounding out the field in 9th will be Pixtecker, who was running pretty close to Tahil Bro, but a couple of mistakes near the end cost him any chance of that position. We hope you've enjoyed this race here in the Rei Sportscar Championship. Well done to Lewis ZGD. We will see you next time for the feature race.